King Media powered by BYD. Ben Shalom. Just seen the weigh-in for Adam Azim, Ohara, Davies. Before we even talk about the weigh-in, I've got to talk about all the stuff Ohara's come up with fight week. Is he trying to get into Adam Azim's head, or is he genuinely not interested in boxing anymore?
I don't think he's trying to get into his head. I think he's trying to take the pressure off him. I know how well he's prepared for this fight. I could see on the scales, I can see him not turn up to the workout yesterday because he's concentrating on the fight. He's really focused, and he knows that he's a very, very experienced Ohara. He's been at the top level. He's coming off the back of the interim world title fight. He's been here before. It's a huge test. You look at his resume prior to that fight. Josh Taylor, Jack Cattrall, his only defeats. He knows what he's doing, and I said to Adam after the press conference, please switch on. Do not let him get you in any sort of false sense of security, because he is coming to win and win well, and he wants to make a statement on Saturday night. And Adam has to be on his game. This is levels and levels above where Adam has fought at. Ohara Davies is a serious fighter, and it's a great fight. I'm glad that both guys look so good on the scales, and we're going to get a great fight tomorrow night.
How nervous are you with, because you've had fighters before that you built from scratch, and you put them in a fight where it's a 50-50 situation. Where does this kind of rank? What does it remind you of regards to nerves as a promoter?
I'm nervous before every fight, mainly just to make sure that the guys get in, get out safe, everything's fine. There's a lot of big fights on tomorrow night. You got Aziz Edmondson, which is a 50-50 fight in many people's eyes. A crossroads fight, an unbelievable fight for the British title. You got TKV Ignatius with another 50-50 heavyweight fight in many people's eyes, one where they're both staking their claim to get into that domestic heavyweight scene. Michael McKinson's got an almighty test against Talani and Benge for the IBO world title, against a guy that's only ever lost in the backyard of others against world-class opponents on split decisions, and that says everything you sort of need to know about him. It's a big fight. Fran Hennessy goes in there with someone that's unbeaten, way more experienced. You've seen her on the scales there. There's some real big tests tomorrow night, some real big fights throughout the card. Anthony Yard has pressure on him, but Azim Ohara, of course, is it's a mouth-watering fight for British boxing fans. It's full of jeopardy. It absolutely is. But Adam Azim's an ambitious young man at 22 years old, headlining on Sky. He wants these moments. He demands these moments. He demands these fights, and all credit to him. And he deserves a huge amount of credit for taking this fight. It's a chance for him to put his name in lights. It really is one of those breakout moments. And look, I'm always, and I said to you before, I'm emotionally invested in my fighters, not just to see them do well in the ring, but to see them do well in life, and make sure that the lows aren't too low and the highs aren't too high. And that's all you can expect. Anyone can lose on Saturday. That's not really the main concern. Let's hope everyone comes in and comes out safe, and we get a fantastic show tomorrow night.
Indeed, and it's obviously free to view on Sky Sports, and the fans can tune in. You said you're close to your fighters, and you obviously had some big post-event stuff to deal with after the show last weekend. I want to speak to you about Ben Whittaker. Have you spoken to him since? Because obviously he's come under a lot of criticism and a lot of unfair comments online. People have kind of jumped on him. He's obviously a young man, so have you spoken to him, and how is he?
Look, I'm not going to say much more than I've already said, but what I will say is, for me, it's a shame sometimes when I look, not forget boxing for a second, I go on Twitter, I see people, the stuff that's said on there is quite often disgusting and horrible, and even about people passing away and things that I'm seeing online, is no one is safe really. That platform has become a cesspit for unhappy people, for people that are miserable, to try and get into people's heads, to try and take down other people. I think it's a horrible place to be, and that's why you can't take credit too seriously, and you cannot take criticism too seriously. He's got a good people around him. I spoke to his dad yesterday. Of course he's devastated. He's a perfectionist, and it's a big moment in his career. It really is. But I have to say, some of the stuff is way over the top, and luckily he's a strong man and he can deal with whatever's thrown at him. Anthony Joshua gets torn down and built back up more times than I've ever seen. and he can deal with it, and Ben Whittaker will be the same. And it's a big moment in his career now to use it as the motivator to really as a wake up call. You know, he's a phenomenal talent and he's going to go right to the top of the sport, but that doesn't mean you don't have to do certain things and make sure we've got world class people around him in every area. And yeah, he's feeling it, of course, but he's a strong guy, and he'll be back. He'll be back very soon.
I spoke to Liam Cameron a couple of days ago, and he did say he felt sorry for Ben with all the criticisms that had come in. But obviously, him and his team are insisting on this rematch. So I'm not going to obviously put you on the spot, but realistically speaking, is that something you would jump straight into, or are you just going to wait and decide as a team?
I'll be honest, we have to see. He was meant to fight in December. That shows had to be postponed. We have to see how he comes back, and we have to see how his rehab goes, and we want him back in the ring early next year. Of course, I believe the rematch will happen. Ben Whittaker should be dealing, and no disrespect to Liam Cameron, I've said it, he's got to be dealing with those guys. I've never seen him hit by guys like that. I've never seen him slow on his feet. There wasn't something right. Anyone that knows Ben Whittaker knows that wasn't Ben Whittaker, and we'll look at that. But of course, I believe the fights happen. But first and foremost, I want to see him fit, healthy, and back in the ring.
Let's talk about this gloves issue, because obviously you talked about the gloves that Fabio was wearing. I think I might be wrong, but I'm sure Adam Azim wears the same gloves as well. So I know you did like an interview that got cut up and put out there, and then Frank Warren's come out today and kind of suggested that he may try and sue you for the comments you made about the gloves. So just talk to me about these fly gloves, because they are approved by the boxing board, aren't they?
Look, when a fighter raises or a team raises concern, and a medical person raises concern, I just pass on the questions. I'm not a regulator. As you said, it's been cut up. I've been very I've praised Fabio for his performance. It was a clinical performance. It's nothing to do with why Fraser lost. It's nothing to do with why Fraser got knocked out. But when I receive concerns from certain people, it's my job to pass that on, and that'll be left with the British Boxing Board. But I just want to make clear, I take absolutely nothing away from Fabio Wardley, and I believe I've made that clear. I think this is one cut of a clip that's in a sponsor's video or something like that. Yeah, that's all I've got to say, and it's my duty to pass questions on.
No doubt you will have spoken to your legal team and stuff like that. Are you concerned? Could anything come your way from that?
Listen, I don't even know. I think Frankie Boy likes to make it about me and him every time. It's nothing, I appreciate it's his fighter, but actually look at what I said, and that's all I'll say about it. But I think it's not about us, and it's not about us calling each other names, and I'm to be honest quite bored of it. I'm looking forward to a great night on Saturday night.
I want to get your reaction to Clackback Thursdays from Oscar De La Hoya. I don't know if you saw it yesterday. So you guys have got like a common enemy, so I don't know if you guys are going to come together. Obviously, you went...
Who's our common enemy?
Obviously, like I'm talking like, boxer, matchroom. Enemy is probably a strong word, but competition, rivalry.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just going to play it to you, see what you think, what you said.
Just when we thought things couldn't get any worse for my buddy Eddie Hearn, they did. The Major Bill suffered his first loss last weekend, further proving that the matchroom curse is a real thing. But before we get into the enormous L, let's check out what Eddie Hearn had to say about Clapback Thursdays. It might be quite horny. Huh? You're horny? Losing makes you horny? Disgusting. 14 main event fighters of yours lost this year. That has to be some kind of record.
It's a good edit, isn't it?
Despite the horrible things people say to me, I don't dislike you. I'm just pointing out the facts that you're unable to do your job. I don't care if people say you're a giant douche and think you're smooth and trust a loser. I just think you're a horrible promoter. And you've proven me to be correct. Gotcha, bitch. I don't know how much longer your funding will last, considering you built absolutely nothing. But it's not my problem. There are 2 months left to redeem yourself in 2024, Eddie. I believe in you. Well, actually, I don't. Just when we thought things couldn't get any worse for my buddy Eddie Hearn, they did. Dimitri Go suffered his first loss last weekend, further proving that the matchroom curse is a real thing.
What do you make? What do you make of all that?
To be honest, I find it strange when, look, I appreciate we represent different guys, but they all have their own careers. And it's like when a certain promoter comes out on me and says, and gets happy that our fighters lost. They're all individuals. It's fun. I do like Oscar. I find him very entertaining. I think the sport is good for him. Sometimes we need people that will come out and say against what everyone else is saying. Sometimes we need challengers. Sometimes we need promoters with different opinions. And no, I find him very funny. But for me, I'm not one to try and gloat when a fighter's lost, because their fighters got their own team, their own ambitions, their own this. We're just guys that put on the shows. We're actually nothing to do with whether they win or lose. We're not training them. We're not doing anything for them. And but I do find Oscar very entertaining, and I'm looking forward to working with him in November for a big show.
You're going to be going head to head with him, so we'll see if you make it to Clackback Thursdays. Do you think you would?
I'd love to. I don't know how many views he gets on that, but no, he's a good. Honestly, I find him. I'd said before, as a fighter, to have a successful career as a promoter is admirable, and he's built it himself, and he's worked extremely hard, and he has fun with it, and he doesn't care what people think, and he says crazy things at times, but yeah, he's a funny guy, a good guy, got a great team as well, a really good team. Really enjoyed working with them, and I'll see him in November where he'll be suffering a loss in a main event of his own.
Last question for you. I've asked Eddie Hearn, I've asked a lot of fighters in the last couple of weeks about their worst fears. I think Eddie Hearn told me he was scared of small spaces. Was Ben Shalom scared of any fears or phobias?
You know what it is? Heights for me. Heights. But that's about it. I think, my missus takes the piss out of me when it's because she loves all that stuff. But I do not like heights. I do not like heights, especially, if there's no, if there's no barrier and there's no thing and it's higher, or not for me.
So that's a good little insight.